Hey everyone, this is Mr. Excitement, Mike Howerton, back here with another video coming at you at Area 51, and I am joined as always with my partner in crime tonight.
Drop your beer, grab your gear. The Admiral's here for another week. How you doing, Mike?
Doing good, man. We had a great first episode of our podcast tonight. I'm just on a high from that, loving it, man. Glad we're to record these videos too tonight.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that was pretty exciting. I must admit, I enjoyed all that. And for any of the viewers that didn't get a chance to see it, you can go back and look up our podcast. I believe it might be about a little over an hour, but we had Ken Byron from Ryko on, and he shares some in-depth stuff going on with his team and his background, stuff like that. We really enjoyed our time with him, so we thank him for coming on to the show. And tonight we're going to get into something a little different, and I know Mike, I'm just going to shoot you straight right now. Monitors or VR? And the reason I ask is because with talking with Ken, he has a new rig that he's getting, and I'm telling you
That
what,
thing's insane.
It was laid out, unbelievable. And anybody hasn't seen it, hit Ken up over at Ryko Motorsports. He's got something that's unbelievable that nobody will have. I guarantee nobody will have it. But
it's in the podcast. He talks about it, and there's a picture of it in the podcast. That thing looks like a car, like the frame of a race car.
Right. So the reason I ask you about monitors or VR, because there was no VR when I started. Okay, and I came on in 2014. Mm-hmm. And I've had the same monitors. I started out on a single, and then I just added two more, so I got triples. Then, fortunately, I got VR. It was an Oculus Rift S. And you helped me get the performance a little better. But I know there's a lot more on the market now, better screens, better VR. What I'd like you to do tonight for me is, if you can, help our viewers understand the difference between if they want triples, they want a single, if they'd like VR, and let us know. So if you'll do that, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. And really there's no right or wrong answers, whatever that you feel the most comfortable with, whatever. There's compromises kind of no matter which way you go. So you're trying to limit those compromises to something that makes you faster, makes you feel better in the race car. And there's drawbacks to each, there's benefits to each. And so here's really the three main ways that most guys race in iRacing. I mean, there's some people that race on probably little rinky-dink 20-inch monitors, with a horrible field of view, and that's probably why they're wrecking all over the place. but let's throw that aside. The people who are serious about iRacing, there are three main ways they do it. One, they either have like a really big TV, like they might roll a sim rig or a monitor, or not monitor stand, but a wheel stand, wheel stand for your wheel, you attach your pedals to all to one big thing, and they just plop that in front of us, like a big 65-inch TV or something, 65-inch TV, plop that in front of it, put a chair in front of it, and race that way. And you get a pretty decent sized field of view that way if you can get really close to that TV. That's one way guys do it. And then, I myself, I have a 43-inch 4K, television sitting here on my desk. I use to play games. I do gaming on my computer other than iRacing. And occasionally, if I ever do race on a monitor, which is very rare for me, I'll do that. And then the other option is triples. You talked about that. So usually guys get anywhere on the small side. You'd be looking at like 27-inch triples will be on the small side. In the medium range, maybe 32-inch or so. And on the bigger side, I've seen guys that have 43-inch TVs, is triple setup, and you can get real crazy. And Will over at Boosted Media down in Australia, he has like a 65-inch triple setup. That's insane. He does it for his pod, his videos and the production value of it. And then the third option is, the VR headset. And so the trade-offs are this: when you go with triples, cost, you got to get three of the same thing. You got to get a monitor stand to put them on, or something attached to your rig. And it can get kind of expensive, but you get a very immersive experience. They wrap around you, and the clarity is really good on monitors. And then the single monitor setup is obviously cheaper. If you have the big enough TV, it still looks good. But I'm not going to argue triples versus VR. We're just going to talk about the state of monitors versus VR. So if you get a monitor, here's what people like about monitors. They are very clear, very, very clear image. And especially at triples, it wraps around you, so you got peripheral vision as well. But people who prefer monitors over VR usually prefer it because of the clarity. You just couldn't reach that clarity in VR headsets. And I would say with an asterisk up until now. Now, people who like VR, they're big liking what I love about it. And I know we've talked before what you like about it as well, is the immersion. You're setting in the car. It really feels like you're in a car. Whenever you are driving and you're trying to hit braking points, or you're trying to hit apexes and turns, it comes natural. I know that I when I race on a monitor, sometimes I'll tag the wall on the right side of my car, because I just I can't feel how close I am to the wall because of the depth of field and the 3D vision.
I'm guilty of that myself.
Oh yeah. And then the other thing is, I don't hit my braking points and stuff very well because the depth of field just isn't there that you get with the VR headset. So that's why people prefer VR. And then there's also a crowd who would like to do VR, but they get motion sick and stuff from it. I'm going to kind of set those guys aside. So they do triples, which is the next best thing for them. But that's a thing with their body. But let's put that aside and say you don't have a motion sickness or a physical issue with VR. The number one complaint about VR was clarity. It's just not clear. It's too grainy. And the first generation of VR headsets, and the first ones that came out, had massive screen door effect where you can see individual pixels. It was very immersion breaking. And then you get a little bit of distance between you and the next car, and it's just a fuzzy little blob, And so that was the big issue with VR. So I have been in VR for a long time. I've been in VR since the first generation of VR headsets came out, and I owned some of the Windows mixed reality first generation VR headsets. The resolution in those things were they were a little better than the first Oculus and first Vives. It was like 1400 by 1400 per eye. And I started out with a Lenovo Explorer. I don't have that one. I still have it at the house. It's got duct tape on the hinge because the hinge broke, but it's up in my daughter's room and everybody's asleep, so I can't really go get that one. I got a picture of it. I'll show you to you here in a minute on the screen. I started out with that one, and I ran that on a GTX 1060, and it ran it just fine. And I played a lot of project cars with it instead of Corsa. Then I got hooked up. I'm looking around here to grab one. I got them all right here still. And I got hooked up with this thing. This is a Samsung Odyssey Plus. It was the premium headset in that first generation of Windows mixed reality headsets. And it boasted a higher resolution. It was 1600 by 1400, which made the image a little clearer. It also came with your built-in earphones on it. They touch your ear, so it got a little annoying on long races. And then it also come with this cloth gasket that went around it. It really scraped my cheeks when my stubble, my face started to grow. I didn't like it, so I got rid of it and got this really nice face pad from VR Covers that I still have on it right now. But anyway, the reason I like this one, this was a go-to headset during the first generation of VR headsets for sim racers. Sim racers and flight sim people loved this headset during the first generation of VR headsets because the resolution was higher and it was made by Samsung, and it has 3.5 inch. Let's see if you can see the lenses there. It has 3.5 inch, 3.5 inch not LCD, sorry, OLED, AMOLED. The nice displays that Samsung puts in their cell phones, the AMOLED displays in their upper end cell phones, they put those same screens in here. The colors pop. It had since they were 3.5 inch screens per eye, it had a really wide field of view compared to all the other headsets on the market at the time. The Valve Index has a higher field of view in this one. But for the time, it had a great field of view. The colors were awesome. The lenses were awesome. The sweet spot was great. And so the VR people, they are not VR people, but sim racers love this. It has just the 2 cameras for the inside out tracking on the front. So if you were doing anything other than sim racing or flight sim stuff, the tracking with the controllers wasn't that great. So that was kind of a drawback, but sim people love this headset. I still got it. It's my backup headset. If anything happens to the one that's my primary now, this is what I'll use as a backup till I get the primary fix. It's still great. The field of view is still good. So this was it for a while, but here's the problem. At 1440 by 1600 trace, there was still clarity problems. Okay. You still had that fuzziness when stuff was in the distance, and it was a deal breaker for a lot of people. They still said, well, triples are a lot more clear. So I'm going to set this one down on the side. Then I'm not going to get to my main one yet, but then I have this right here. This is a Oculus Quest 2. You can operate it in wireless mode, like it'll connect wireless to your computer. I wouldn't recommend you racing that way. The resolution is not that great in wireless, and there's a little bit of lag because it's got to send a signal over Wi-Fi. And I got this little link cable that goes with it. You hook it up to the computer. Now, this thing has a resolution of I think it's like 1835 by like 1920. So I'll have to look on the website here in a second, but it's got a decent resolution. You really can't see the screen door effect anymore with this one. And a lot of people race with this, but there's a couple of things. You see, I got a battery pack hooked to the back of it because the built-in battery only lasts for like an hour and a half or something before it dies. So a lot of people do this too. You get a different back end on it here, a different strap. You can throw a battery on it and it'll charge while you're playing. This is like a 10,000 milliamp hour battery. So you can play it for like 6-7 hours. So yeah, so that fixed that problem. But the problem is if you hook it up to a computer, like you want to do if you're sim racing, it charges while you use it, but it doesn't charge fast enough to keep it charged. Basically, I'm trying to say it drains the battery faster than the computer can charge it because your computer doesn't put out very much power over those USB cables. So, you might be able to race 2B open races with it, at a time, or maybe one race and do some practice, and then your headset will be dead. So that's kind of a drawback there. The other drawback to the Oculus headsets in general, any of the Oculus headsets, including the one you have, is that if you like widgets, like I like to use Race Lab apps to give me another relative, tell me all kinds of information, like my oil temp, my water temp, like a digital readout, my RPMs in the races. I like to see when other people pit, strength of field, how much I rating I'm gaining or losing each spot. If you like that kind of stuff, there's a couple of different applications out there that work natively with OpenVR standard, which is what everything else uses but Oculus. And they just pop right up in the VR headset. They're right there and it works natively, no problem. I love that stuff. But if you got an Oculus headset, no go. They don't work with it because they all use the OpenVR standard and this does not. I bought this because A, I wanted to try it out, and B, I got it as a good deal on Facebook, and C, I love the wireless feature and this big battery pack on the back because I do other things in sim racing and VR. I like there's all kind of games. I like Half-Life Alyx is awesome, and so when you're playing large room scale games and you're moving around, it's nice to have a wireless headset. And a little bit of latency doesn't affect me in anything other than sim racing. So when I play VR, everything else but sim racing, this is what I use. But then when I'm sim racing, I'm going to break out the bad boy here.
Let me ask you something real quick. See if I understand you, because this is kind of new to me. So you saying there's an Oculus program or maybe something like proprietary program versus an open VR? I was confused on that.
Yeah, it's not. That's a good question. It's not a program. It's like it's the protocol that it uses to communicate.
Okay.
So there's a standard out there called OpenVR, which it's literally what it is. It's an open source VR standard for communication with applications, and Steam VR uses it, and Windows Mixed Reality uses it with a plug-in to Steam VR. So everything but Oculus runs off this OpenVR communication standard. Oculus has their own communication standard for their headsets, and all these app developers that made these, the couple of them that there are, there's only like 2 of them that support VR natively anyway, and one of them is Race Lab apps. Anyway, but both of the 2 major softwares out there that support these pop-ups inside of iRacing, they only support OpenVR. So if you have Oculus, you're out of luck.
So anything other than Oculus. Okay, I wasn't sure about that because I am going to upgrade at one point in time, and I want to make sure I don't go back and make the same mistake, because I do want those pop-ups. Those are definitely good information that I can monitor my race, see how I'm doing versus everybody else, which is my current setup with the monitors. I can do that, but obviously not in my headset. So appreciate that.
Yeah, and last thing I want to say about the Oculus headset before I put it down is I'm not saying that it's not right for somebody. Okay, if you want to play VR games on the computer, PC VR games, other than sim racing. So sim racing is just something else you do, okay? And you don't mind not having access to those pop-ups with all that, the widgets or apps or pop overlays, whatever you want to call them, that has all the information. That doesn't really matter to you, and you do tons of other VR stuff besides sim racing. Hey, this is a viable option. I'm not knocking it. Like, the resolution is pretty good in it, gets rid of the screen door effect. It's wireless. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that if you want those overlays, it's not an option. All right, so here's the big boy, okay? This is the HP Reverb G2. This thing has really great audio, and they're off ear. It's the same audio that's in the Valve Index. It's really comfortable, and the resolution is amazing. The lenses and the resolution is absolutely amazing. This has 2160 by 2160 per eye resolution. So basically we're talking 4K resolution on the screen. The other thing I'll show you in a minute is that it actually is even better than that. There are some headsets that just came out. The Vario headset, which is actually a little bit clearer than this, and then a Vive came out with a Pro 2, and it actually has a little bit higher resolution than this. But oddly enough, the HP Reverb G2 is still the king for sim racing, because even though the other one has a little higher resolution on the LCD panel, the Reverb G2 is still actually clear. When you look through the lenses and compare them side by side, the HP Reverb G2 is still clear. And the Vario is like over $2,000. So it's like out of everybody's price range. Really, it comes down to the Reverb G2 and the new Vive Pro 2. And even though the Vive Pro 2 has a slightly higher resolution, this baby still has a better resolution. The reason why is because even though the lenses are 2160 by 2160, this headset has something called a pin cushion and barrel effect. And basically, I think the lenses have the barrel effect, kind of like a concave type like projection on the lenses. So what Steam VR and Open VR does to make up for that is they render the resolution at like over 3000 by 3000 pixels per eye. And then they render that as a pin cushion, like puffed out in the middle, a convex type projection. And when you put the two together, it ends up being a flat surface. But the point that I'm trying to make is that Steam VR is rendering this thing at a lot higher resolution than the displays are displaying. And it's kind of the trick that you and I pulled with your headset. You had a good enough graphics card where we were able to go into Steam VR and render the resolution at 150% of the native resolution of display, and it made your gauges look clear. And you could tell a big difference, couldn't you?
Absolutely. That was a world of difference. Yeah, normally I couldn't even read the numbers, but then it became crystal clear, and it was really nice. So right. Yeah, that was a good deal.
And that was on the same hardware. We just did that through
right.
what we call super sampling. You just render the resolution at a higher amount than what the display is, and it makes it look clear, even though the display has the same resolution. So the one complaint here with the HP Reverb G2, though, and I'm going to put a link down in the description to help you guys out. The one complaint is the facial gasket. This is an aftermarket facial gasket. I can't even find the original because I've never really used it except for when I first got it. This was the first thing I replaced on it. And the thing is it connects, and the original was about 2 or 3 times as thick right here. And this piece right here was thicker in this section. And what it did was it kept your face pretty far away from the display, and it made it look like you were looking through like binoculars. So it was super clear, but I had a horrible field of view, and and it made you feel like you were looking down a tunnel because your eyes were so far away. So this facial gasket is just held on by magnets, so it pops right off. So I bought one on eBay and replaced it, and now I have a great field of view. It's almost as good as what was on the Samsung Odyssey that I had, and it's super clear. Best of both worlds. This right here is the king of VR headsets for simmers, for sim racing or flight sim. And what I was about to tell you at the beginning of the video, I'm going to kind of wrap this up, and I'll show you a couple of websites where you can get some of these, is that with this thing, if you've got a powerful graphics card, like I have a 3080, I can run this thing at full resolution. And I'm telling you guys, there is not much difference between the clarity of this headset and the monitor. Tracy, it's all the benefits of having VR, as far as your the depth perception and all that stuff, and all the benefits of having VR, and none of the negatives as far as clarity goes. So like people that were complaining, well, it's so fuzzy, well, it's blurry, well, you got a screen door effect, it takes the experience away. All that's gone with the HP Reverb G2. It's about like looking at a monitor at about 1080p. 32-inch monitor at about 1080p, which is pretty good. So really that's kind of the state of where things are at now. And I just want to share my screen real quick. I got a website up here. I got my web browser up here real quick, and I want to share it with you. This is my current backup headset. I keep one. If my Reverb GT goes down, this is what I'll be racing with. It still holds up. If you have a GTX 1080 graphics card, this would be a perfect match for that. If you're not planning on upgrading your graphics cards for a while. And the AMOLED, I cannot emphasize enough how great the colors are and stuff in that AMOLED display. They also have anti-screen door technology in this. So even though the resolution is not great, the way they've positioned the pixels, it's not any clearer, but where you can see those lines in between the pixels, that's gone in this. So that's another reason why sim racers love this one so much. I don't even know if they got a price here. It's discontinued. I don't even think they sell one, but I'm going to tell you, you can get them on eBay sometimes, used at a halfway decent price. You can also get them on Facebook Marketplace. If you want to get into VR and you're not ready to upgrade your graphics card, this would be the greatest thing ever. One of my sons wanted to get into VR and play some VR games at the house, and I found one of these on eBay that I ordered. It was the headset only without the controllers, and I got it for like $150 here about 8 months ago. And because I had a couple extra controllers here at the house where I had a couple headsets before, and one headset broke, and I kept the controllers. So that's an option. If you guys are just wanting to get into VR and you want to do something other than sim racing, Oculus is always an option. Like I said, you just can't do the overlays. Here's the Oculus Quest 2. It's pretty cool. They got the Oculus App Store. You can get stuff there. You got the Steam VR Store. You can do iRacing. The resolution is pretty decent. Like I said, screen door effects almost completely gone here. Resolution of 1832 by 1920 total, or as per eye. Sorry, as per eye resolution. So it's almost, the resolution on this thing is almost as high as the Reverb G2. So a solid option. I just prefer to stay away from Oculus for VR racing because I like those overlays like we were talking about. Then the last headset I'm going to show you, this is the Reverb G2. You can buy it straight from HP. As far as pricing goes on the Reverb G2, it varies. Right now, I think the MSRP on this thing is like $559 or $569, but you can get them on sale regularly. When I say regularly, I don't mean every day, but like 2 or 3 times a year. They had a Labor Day sale. They had a Black Friday sale. They have sales on these. And I've seen them as low as like $450. And so here's what I would recommend. And this is, if first of all, if you like monitors, there's nothing wrong with monitors, right? If you like triples, man, you get a wide field of view, you get crystal clear screen. And if you like that, man, stay there. If you love it, I'm not trying to convince you to get VR if you love your monitors. But what I am trying to say, if you're serious about wanting to get into VR and sim racing, and you want like a no compromise headset, as far as visual quality goes and audio, the HP Reverb G2 is by far the most popular headset for sim racers. And it's because of the clarity of this thing. And so here's what I would suggest you do. Even if you're in it, and I would suggest this for you, Tracy, even if your graphics card isn't up to where it needs to be to run this thing, that's okay. Get it, okay? Get the headset. And I'm going to show you something real quick. I want to ducking down out of the video, but I'm turning my headset on so I can open up Steam VR and do a screen share on that real quick. So get this, okay? It's a good deal. Brand new headset, comes with a warranty. Depending on when you buy it, you're going to pay anywhere from like $450 plus tax up to $550 or so plus tax. And it comes with the controllers, the headset, the cable, everything you need. Okay, guys, so here's what I recommend y'all do. If you got the GTX 1080 powered graphics card or equivalent or higher, and you want to get in the VR market, you don't have to upgrade your graphics card first. I know the prices are crazy right now. So here's what you do. I'm in Steam VR, and right here it says we got a few things going. Your refresh rate's 90 hertz. That's 90 frames per second. But right here it says render resolution. It has auto and custom. You turn that thing to custom. Right here it says resolution per eye, and I'm at 100%. So this is what the headset's supposed to be rendered at. I told you, even though that was 21 2160 by 2160 per eye. In order to make it work, Steam actually renders it at like 150% of that, at like 3156 by 3088. Okay. And so that's why this thing is so crystal clear. And so what you do is, if you got a GTX 1080, you can just simply grab a hold of this and drag it down. Like when I had my GTX 1080, I had this headset and I was rendering them at like, I think 70 or 72%. Yeah, I was doing 72%, 2680 by 2620. And bam, you do that, and a GTX 1080 equivalent card or higher will power this thing. You don't need a beast. And I want to tell you something, Trace. Even though you're rendering it at less than what Steam considers 100%, there's still no screen door, and it's still twice as clear as any of those first generation headsets. So I would recommend anybody wanting to get into VR to buy one of these HP Reverb G2s right here I got in my hand, and run it on the graphics card you have now, assuming that it's powerful enough. You might be able to get away with like a GTX 1070. You could probably drag this down to like 65% and probably get away with a GTX 1070 even too. So get the headset first, enjoy it. It'll still be clearer than anything else out there that you could buy. Then go get that facial gasket that gets rid of the field of view problem. In fact, if I remember right, they came out with a brand new version of the G2 if you buy it from their website right now, and it actually has a new facial gasket that's got a piece that you can take out that gets rid of that field of view issue. So really, you don't have to go buy this. But if you find one of the first generation G2s on eBay or Facebook or somewhere cheap, grab it and then just go to eBay and get one of these facial gaskets here. Get one of these facial gaskets here on eBay. But I just remembered, you don't even have to worry about eBay for the brand new one. It comes with a piece that comes off that gets your eyes closer and takes care of that field of view problem. So yeah, Tracy, that's pretty much all I have here on VR headsets tonight and monitors. I just want everybody to race on what they feel most comfortable with, whatever helps them get the fastest lap times in their races. And so, if you guys love monitors, that's awesome. Triples are always a great option for racing, but VR is also a very good option too. And I just wanted to cover kind of the state of VR and where VR is at now, because a lot of those reasons and kind of hesitations people have, and some of the things they didn't like about VR the first time they tried it, now in the most recent generation of VR headsets, those things are being addressed, and I really don't think they're an issue anymore. So it may be time for some people to go back and revisit VR. If they liked it to begin with, and they liked the immersion, and they liked all that, they just couldn't get past the lower resolution, some of the older headsets. I think that's totally been addressed at this point. And so, I just want everybody to be fast, race where they're comfortable, and what makes them feel the best in sim racing. I hope this video was informational, Tracy, not only for you, but for everybody that's watching this video, that it was very informational, informative, and is going to help you guys out when making decisions on how you want to race going forward in iRacing. So that's the state of VR. It's the state of monitors. Appreciate y'all being with us here for this video. Don't forget to check out our podcast. It's our Alien Factory weekly podcast, Sunday night at 10 p.m. We're going to have a different guest every week. This coming Sunday night, our guest is going to be Tommy Gossett. Right now, Tommy is 26th in points in Road to Pro. He's hoping to make it into the Contender Series. So we're going to have Tommy on Sunday night, talk to him about that and some other things. He's a fellow content creator as well, not only an iRacer. So come in, check out that broadcast at 10 p.m. this coming Sunday night. That's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Area 51 Alien Factory. That'll get you directly to our YouTube channel. So glad you're here with us for this video. And as for myself, Mr. Excitement Mike Howerton, and the Admiral himself, Tracy Rumschlag, and everyone else here at Area 51, we appreciate you being with us. And as always, we will see you in the next one.